Okay, abusia yebemo bibia kwa bana abusia eye Black Rasta the breaking news bi abreye ever former Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Isaba Torkono hu abusia sa maami we former CG Gertrude Torkono wotimi hwe nyame anim evia Ghana sika 337,000 abusia enda me no kasai court ashe amana number of days say on returning the escano and yes ye be prosecute no na jail na bushia ama former Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Torkono na so aye papa enye asem mana chese ma me ne pamona ye pamono no sa na krono sem so ebata ho am enda me no wo kasai no according to Black Rasta watch say Torkono etimi hyenyam yenim efa Ghana sika 337 Ghana cedis enda me no kasai court ashama me say ombra MBTS can wait immediate effect abusuya mama yanko ni nkoti Black Rasta nsema odeba ebedom ya nansa na ebekon mesho se dwumadi onya like ya obe like share ma for fransensa into me and kebi medamasi
KA Kukushono, and here we speak truth to power. Remember, we are the headquarters of the truth because we are not neutral. We have taken sides. The side of the truth will never compromise. Oh yes. Remember, here we don't criticize, but if we must, it must be only on one condition, to build and not to destroy. That is why we say we are in the service of God and country. Now, there is a very important issue we need to look at, and we are not going to be long. Watch this. This woman called Gertrude Araba Isaba Torkono, the 15th Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, who was recently kicked out by President John Dramani Mahama in consultation and agreement with the procedures laid down in our constitution for the removal of the Chief Justice. Article 146, many have read it. It has become a signature of almost every Ghanaian who is interested in Ghanaian politics. Lawyers have quoted this left, right, and center, and it looks like it has stuck on us like a tattoo. This woman here was born on the 11th of September in 1962. How old is she now? 60. What years? 3 years. She's pushing 64 next year. In fact, this woman became the 15th Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana after Enin Yeboah, the former Chief Justice, reached retirement and was kicked out. Or better still, was excused. This woman came in and became the Chief Justice. Many were those who heralded her arrival. Many were those who clapped for her. Many were those who applauded simply because of her gender. And of course, her brain. She schooled both in Ghana and outside Ghana. Now, Nana Addo Dankwa Akuffo Addo was the one who handed over the mantle to her and believed that she would be able to run to the finish line. In fact, and even fly with better colors. What do we mean by better colors? Many Chief Justices have come. She was the 15th, a female. She certainly was not the only female Chief Justice we have ever had in our republic. But this one, for some reason, many people believe that she was going to do better. Because the reality is that as we grow, we should be able to outdo what others have done in the past. That is what is called development. Unfortunately, she fell below the average line, according to the new regime that came after the one that made her a queen, the Chief Justice. And I'm talking about the regime of John Dramani Mahama. When John Dramani Mahama came into power, petitions were sent to him against the Chief Justice. She had misused her office, amongst other allegations, by one Daniel Ofori. Now, Daniel Ofori is a man who has never agreed with this Chief Justice. He has succeeded in going to the Supreme Court and getting the Supreme Court to agree with him that the Chief Justice, before she became the Chief Justice, had been biased on a number of occasions towards him, Daniel Ofori. Now, for those who don't know Daniel Ofori, this man here at the age of 15 was already a millionaire, the owner of Whitechapel, and so many other businesses. He has properties all over Accra and beyond. He is not a poor man. He might not be very much lettered, but when he speaks and analyzes issues, you might think that he's a lecturer in a certain university in Ghana. My brother, my sister, Gertrude, Araba, Esaba, Torkono. She was born in Cape Coast, but she hails from Winneba, so she is fancy. She and her family traveled using the taxpayers' money, and the committee that was set up by John Dramani Mahama and his government to look into this issue came out with one verdict, that she was guilty of misusing her office, and for that matter, she had to be kicked out. More than 20 different allegations were leveled against her, but 3 of them went through, and she was kicked out. My brother, my sister, today, there is a big question that many people are looking at, and I'm interested in this. Watch this. Really, Gertrude Torkono sacked because of how much? 337,000 Ghana cedis. This was the money involved. This was the money involved in her trial, her supposed trial. The Council of State met, formed a committee that sat on her issue of misappropriation and abuse of office, and found her guilty on 3 different counts or even more, and decided that she should be excused. She's tried to fight it in court. Not many Ghanaians have agreed with her. It looks like now she's lost steam and decided to stay back. But many have asked, a woman who has worked so hard and risen to this level, look at the amount of money. 337,000 Ghana cedis. Is that why she must lose all her benefits and all that? Come here, let us discuss this better. Watch me. Now, my brother, if you steal 1 cedi and another person steals 1 billion, when you go to the court, how do we call the 2 of you? Thieves. Whether you steal a stone or gold, as long as the act involved in stealing, you are a thief. When the law courts convict you of stealing, convict you of theft, then you are a thief. In our country, it looks like we are so much interested in the fact that if somebody steals something of not so much value, we excuse that person and say that is not theft. We are only looking for those who are stealing big monies and things that are of so much value. When we start looking at the world like that, we will end up encouraging thievery. How do big thieves become big thieves? They start by being small thieves. When you are a little boy, your mother sends you to go out there and buy Kobe. Then you go out looking around for the Kobe, because the last Kobe your mother had, she carelessly put it aside and the cat took it away. So you go out looking for the Kobe to buy. And if it is 2 cedis, you come back and tell your mother that it's how much? 3 cedis. Your mother is in a hurry to cook for the family. So she takes it quickly. You pocket the extra 1 cedi that you have stolen. And because you think it's your mother, everything is okay. The next day, you will buy the Kobe for 4 cedis. On the 3rd day, you will buy the Kobe that's supposed to be for 2 cedis for 5 cedis. And you keep increasing the magnitude of stealing. My brother, my sister, Gertrude Torkono was found guilty on 3 different occasions or even more. And the money, the amount involved, 337,000 Ghana cedis. Even if it was 1 cedi, it is still misappropriation. It's the taxpayers' money. Do we know how many people 1 cedi could save from so many different things? Let alone 337,000. How many Ghanaians have seen this amount of money before? The average Ghanaian this can be their life savings. Money that, if they had in their hands, it will be equivalent to living in heaven. So if one person can grab this amount of money, forget about the magnitude, look at the act. Until we start looking at the act and not necessarily the end, we will continue trumpeting it everywhere that the end justifies the means. So if a man steals 1 cedi, he's a lesser thief. That's why the Bible keeps telling you that there's nothing like a smaller sin and a bigger sin. Sin is sin. It's the black pot, aka kukushonomo, and here we speak truth to power.
We hope that at the appeals court, they are able to show excellence in delivering justice. Now, on share, the judicial system, because you see, Ghanaians, the judicial system, it has been weighed down by some of the controversies and issues that have happened over the years. From Anas, Arimaya Anas, near expose to issues back and forth with the Chief Justice who has been back and forth. There's a lot of issues that have come up in the judiciary. So we hope that Winnie Juma would rather build confidence into the public. My only concern is that 20 being appointed, we've been talking about this appointment by presidents. And 20 at a go being appointed by one president. It's too many. It's too many. And it's cost. Because it comes with certain largesse, it comes with certain conditions of service. You know, so I think we need to be finding balance in some of these things.
That's it. Time and now MPC opposition, na MPP also. Now me tie cassette. Time and now Akuffo appointment, you know, based on the. I'm sure say the Chief Justice will suggest any. And I say when we read the book, when democracy is about to die, it's one of the signs. You have certain president parking. Judges, I don't know, the courts, I beg your pardon, minimum say for their own safety. So it is a dozen.
20 at a go. I'm not sure the vacancy that is there in here. We feel there is a need to have them as
cases because judges and nonce.
But appeals courts, you see, if ebi assembly oko na mesi mo kweno obi feel there I don't a review of the case not the appeals court. I'm not saying I don't know the number of cases before that, but all I'm saying is that it does not present a good picture. Because sure why endis are banning ebia or no bisimu bakan
no
you before no ya
can also have imagine Nana Akuffo
understand
I'm appointing 20.
Yeah, so I think we need to be fair in this, and I think the Constitutional Review Commission recently, the work that they've done, I mean, I've been involved in some of them. We share political parties. When they were doing also some of their public engagement, I was in Akuffo, so I joined one of their sessions. And one of the key things people are concerned about is the role of president in the appointment process. It looks like, especially in this situation where NDC has the majority in parliament, you know that once you have been appointed, I mean, it's done deal. You understand? You are going through. And me, on time, see, I think one day, there were back and forth on going through. I think finally it will go through, you know. So there are issues. And I've seen in social media, there's some MP people are raising there. There was one former MP for somewhere who is being part and all that. Charlie, there is some danger. We know of Justice Jeru, for instance. I mean, who has been a parliamentary candidate.
But if Justice Jeru's case is a bad one, should we repeat?
For me, I don't think it's a bad one. Okay. You understand? Kwame, friend Ochu. For me, when you go to the court, the cases that come that are political, you cannot tell me that the percentage of cases that go before the court, political issues is of the highest percentage.
Yeah, social issues better also.
You understand? So sometimes, I don't want us to be having that kind of debate, but it has an impact. Because sometimes, especially at the Supreme Court, when you are appointing politically tainted people, it has an impact on how, because justice is supposed to impact, because sometimes, especially at the Supreme Court, when you are appointing politically tainted people, it has an impact on how, because justice is supposed to be manifested. Justice is being served. So when I have certain referees involved, now why a tainted either a point appear or whatever to electoral commission, you have the perception they might not do due diligence.
Okay, because of a certain background.
Yes, I mean, all these things are involved, and sometimes from the background and some of the commentaries that have been made in the past. And I hear people referring to it. The former President Mahama, the NEC lawyers should rise to the occasion so that some of these people cannot be. So when all these commentaries are there, it sometimes create certain kind of impression. We should set a system whereby if we are appointing judges to appeal courts, to high courts, to Supreme Court, it does not look like they are politically motivated.
Okay, so a chairman, my name is a twin question. Do you think, sir, we should have an appointment ceiling or a capping for number of judges? Whether the High Court, Appeals Court, or the Supreme Court. And again, as a lawyer, do you think we should have some legal commission here? They will do the appointment rather than a certain precedent in the name of checks and balances and separation of powers. Because I'm a president, I'm a appoint here. Do you owe allegiance to me or to the constitution of our country?
All these things would have worked at some point, but currently I don't see any committee in Ghana that you will set.
Okay.
That you will tell me that there will not be any influence. Especially when we know the kind of work that they were going to do. Otu. Chapel. Now we'll set up certain committees in Chapel. Now confounding the role they can play, they are politically sometimes motivated. Because for instance, if you pick the Peace Council, and depending on certain role you play in Christian Council or even some of the religious bodies like the ATIGYA, the Catholic, whatever, they form part of the process. So once I know that at the end of the day you will get there and the politically motivated person will think about these things and try and influence it. Council of State elections. Look at how they chance you could turn man paying for. We are paying people to go and do that. How? House of Chiefs elections. We've seen all these things. So now it looks like anytime I know that there is a role that somebody is going to play and also have an influence.
I'm sorry. But you cross over for president because I am PK ne sound. So live on Accra 100.5 FM. But it remember when you PK president in some local. But you bet imagine me feeding on Facebook. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. And you say honorable patron if if you actions no have an influence on my governance, I will try and influence those processes. So the moment I had the CCR, so I feel like even when we say some bodies are independent and whatever, there are sometimes still there is some thin line in there. What I'm interested in is that let's find a way to set up a system that works so that no matter who is in power, that system is able to work. And it cannot be politically motivated or engineered. We need people who will be objective, who would say A is A and B is B. It does not matter whether it is NPPA or NDCA or PNCB or GCPP. I'll come back to you, Lord. I'll come back. Yeah. Let's follow the president.
courts so that adjournments and delays no longer frustrate ordinary citizens. The second is creating specialized divisions at the High Court and Court of Appeal to handle land disputes, commercial cases, and labor matters which too often drag on for many years. Introducing time-bound case management systems to ensure that justice delayed is no longer justice denied. Expanding legal and aid services to ensure that justice is not for the privileged or the wealthy, but the right of every Ghanaian. Strengthening judicial ethics and accountability so that misconduct and corruption find no place within our courts. These are not abstract promises, they are concrete steps that will make justice not only more credible, but also more hopeful. Let us remember that justice is not separate from development. Justice is the invisible infrastructure on which every economy, every community, and every democracy rests. Investors will not risk their capital where contracts can be overturned by bias and prejudice. Entrepreneurs will not thrive where land disputes trap them in endless litigation. Communities cannot live in peace where verdicts are held in doubt.
Okay, abusia enti chese wene nsema ekoso awo political highway ni so chese black rasta wo chese nkofo a omotete abonten a omoka se sika getu araba tokono ewia no enye sika pudo bia wo se nkitimi gina so edesa aka no no chese Ghana ha uwia wansidi ne de ugboro mokota yen ka sika no eye wansidi nti enye krono nka akọ na nka 2 cities ne da ho a nka betamba eye wansidi nti na atam wansidi nti maame no eye krono na waboni nti wo se Ghana ye gi sika no wantu a yen prosecute ne jeli na musua ensema ko highway ne so no na ano ede ne mede mu besi ya na madam asesama je pene me koti ensema akọ so o political highway ne so ha eye POG Media medamasi